Welcome to the GRID IRN-CRU. I'm your host, Keith McGinty, and we are the Crew, an NFL podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. You're listening, and for the first time ever, you're going to be watching the preview crew. And as I said, I am your host, Keith McGinty. This week, I'm joined by some of the finest crew members to look ahead to week 18. Starting with Craig Smith. Craig, how are we tonight, pal?
How you doing, Keith? I'm good, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all. It's first couple of days back at work, which is always a bit of a shocker after the Christmas holidays. But yeah, just getting back at the swing of things. But yeah, looking forward to talking about the playoff picture, what's going to be happening this weekend. It's been a bit of a remarkable week as far as the NFL's been concerned. So yeah, plenty to talk about tonight. But yeah, looking forward to chatting to you boys as always.
It really has. If they had scripted this by Hollywood writers this season so far, I don't think it would have been tossed out for being absolutely surreal. But it's certainly been great entertainment. It's been emotional as well, and we'll definitely dive into that a wee bit later on. I'm also joined by Liam. Liam, how are you this evening?
Well, thanks for having us.
You have a good Christmas, good New Year. First I've had a chance to speak to you, buddy.
It's been well. I was slightly anticlimactic. We had a lovely sickness bug going around our house. That was a joy. But except from that, no, can't complain that much. So Santa was good as well. So
certainly was. And the Packers did well last weekend as well. But this is the preview crew, Craig. We're not allowed to talk about that, aren't we?
No, we're not talking about the Vikes Packers game at all. And Liam's certainly not going to mention it. I'm going to go to Liam's house tomorrow, and we're not going to talk about it there either. So it's fine. We're looking forward, looking ahead. Vikings game, how was that? I don't remember.
I've got a scarf ready for you. It's all right.
One man who is looking ahead with hope and anticipation after that season that's kind of not been going anywhere really is Scott Hoggle. Scud, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm good, mate. Recovered for New Year's. Apologies I wasn't on Monday, Tuesday. All the days are mixed up. But no, I for one don't remember a game last Sunday, Craig, so you're fine. I have no recollection of that game
I was in the same room as you over New Year, and you were in magnificent form, mate. Your karaoke skills were sublime.
With no mic.
with no mic and no top, but I mean that's just Scud.
That's a look.
There's something. If this podcast ever gets sponsored by Jack Daniels, we're going to be in trouble. By the way, I'll tell you that right now. We're going to start this show with our kick-off question, and as we said earlier, it's been a bit of a harrowing week in the NFL. Some have stayed up quite late to watch the match between the Bills and the Bengals, and what happened to Damar Hamlin was quite horrific. The Bills tweeted earlier that Damar Hamlin opened his eyes last night and was responsive. I think he said the first thing that he asked, he couldn't actually speak, so he wrote it down. And the first thing he asked was, "Did we win?" The doctors replied, "You won at the game of life," which is the most important thing. It was really unsettling to watch live. Well, we've got a newborn, so we were up quite late feeding him, and it was a great excuse for me to watch a wee bit of the NFL as well. So my wife was actually sitting watching it with us, and it was strange. It was how quickly you could tell that something serious had happened, and how the atmosphere and the mood actually changed in the pitch and in the stadium there. It was quite surreal. I think because we are football fans, it's weird, I think, because it's such a well-played game, our football, that we've seen things like this happen, thinking back to the Euros with Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the first example. I can think back, there was the Paulo Wanchope, is that right? It passed away on the pitch as well. There's been several players that these sort of things have happened to. When listening to the commentators describe it, how they had never seen anything like this before, and I'm relatively new to the NFL, just past couple of seasons, I've really been getting back into it. I find that a wee bit hard to believe that nothing like this has ever happened before. You guys, I don't think any of you were up to watch the game, but reading back over the tweets and the messages in our WhatsApp group from the few of us that were watching it, and the highlights that you'd have seen, and the commentary and the coverage the next few days, Craig, what was it you took from it? how did you feel even watching back on it that wee bit later on?
I think just in the immediate kind of aftermath, everyone was just, I think, taken aback by the response of the whole NFL, the whole community, the fans, the players, all the organisations, everybody rallying behind Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills organisation. Everybody just sending their love and support to him. And the one thing that's come out over the like you were saying, over the past few hours, some positive news about him asking the outcome of the game, obviously wishing him every well wish we could possibly send to the guy. I mean, it's fantastic to hear that he is say alert and speaking to them. But as far as MVPs go, just the first responders that were there in the field doing their thing, everybody involved, take my hat off to all of them. So hopefully, as I say, fingers crossed, we're all hoping he continues to make a full recovery. But for me, the one big positive to take out of it was just like how amazing like the NFL community is, like all the fans, rallying outside the hospital, even at the stadium, like I say, it was a somber atmosphere, but just like Bengals fans, Bills fans, all, really pulling together, supporting each other. And that was brilliant to see. And that's always been the brilliant thing about the NFL. When you go and watch a game, as a neutral fan and you're traveling to another stadium, it's not like football here where it's like home and away supporters in different stands and everything else. You look at the stands in an NFL game, it's all mixed together. And, most of the time, that's the way it should be. Fans all just going there to enjoy a game, and it's dreadful that they went to go and enjoy a game and to see that happen. Nobody wants to see that. But as I said, the one positive thing that did come out of it, was just how much the whole NFL community came together. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The money that they've raised for Damar Hamlin's foundation as well, absolutely unbelievable. Ex-players, organisations all putting in, donations to help kids in need in his community. So, no, brilliant to see. And like I say, just wish him all the best, really.
Last time that I heard was it was over $7 million had been raised. We've been only looking to raise a couple of thousand for these children. It's remarkable how something good has come out of this. I agree with you that the people that should be rewarded for this is definitely the EMTs, I think they call it over there. People who worked so quickly to make sure that the oxygen was still getting to his brain, that he is able to then come back, and first thing he's asking is, did we win the game? Scott, I've not actually asked the kick-off question yet. The kick-off question was, do you think that the league reacted appropriately at the time? And what would you like to see them do with the unfinished match? So, watching the game the other night, just to give you a wee bit of thing, it was about 45 minutes after he went down. I think he went down maybe about 5 to 3 in the morning, something like that, and it was about 3:30, 4 before the game was then called off. The teams had been taken off the field. Initially, there was talk on the pitch and through the commentary saying that when he was getting lifted off and the ambulance was actually leaving the field, the teams were getting 5 minutes to warm back up again. You could see people were distraught on the pitch, and it was great to actually see tough guys not hiding their emotions. There was people openly crying, but there was a sense that this is what people do. This is how you react to such a horrific event. Do you think that 45 minutes was maybe a wee bit too long before that they called the game off, or do you actually think that the teams worked really, really well together for that? What do you think?
No, I think they definitely. I definitely think they did. They couldn't have replayed that. From what the team went through for that 45 minutes, there's no chance. I didn't agree. I'm sure the Ericsson game they let the team played on, and I thought that was wrong at the time.
No, yeah, I thought that was wrong at the time.
To me, they should have stopped it there and then, and I think the NFL have done the right thing. You couldn't go through any more than that with the guys. 45 minutes, you've seen some of your brother, your pal, your friend lying down there receiving CPR. You couldn't have completed on after that. And I think some of the players and the coaches were away up to him in the hospital straight away, so they were going no matter what. So I think the Bills would have refused to play, to be honest with you. So I think the NFL done the right thing. As to what to do with the game now, I don't know. How can you play that after all the Week 18 games are done? It's just, I think we might have to wait and see if it's got any implications for the number 1 seed. Play this week, see what happens, how the standings are, and if it's necessary, we might need to play it. But how you play it, I don't know.
I think that's what the
solution.
I think that's what they're hoping for. Is that the Eagles that could clinch the overall number 1 seed this weekend. So if they were to do that, kind of takes it out of the league's hands, which would be quite good, Liam. I thought
that's the wrong side of the ball.
What's that, buddy?
The Eagles are the ranked division, mate.
Oh, that's NFC.
Oh, I'm going to have to get a wee play up here. AFC, NFC, make sure. Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor, I thought the leadership that they showed on the field the other night was absolutely incredible, Liam. And it was great to see that sense between them, that they knew that this was something that was quite horrific, and it affected players from both teams. They were going up against each other. They wanted to beat each other, but they also knew that was something that transcended the football. Liam, are you happy with how it went down and the way that they're demonstrating to the wider community, the wider world, just how some things are more important than the football? And I know we all get totally wrapped up in it. We want to see our teams win. We want to see our teams clinch that number 1 spot. We were looking forward to an incredible game. It started off quite well. But I thought myself, for those 45 minutes, there was a vacuum, but you could tell that people were working in the background, but they were doing it with compassion, which was great to see. What do you think, Liam? How should it be sorted out?
No, well, as kind of alluded, I'm not quite sure what you do if you do anything. I suppose also the other point is, even this week, like the Bills team, how are they going to play this weekend, you think? Yeah. Obviously, I know it's good positive news coming out today that things are hopefully trending out in the right direction for the Hamlin, but even still, to go through that on the field and watch that, because obviously as I suppose pictures you see them all around, like I suppose that just brings you back memories as we talked about the Euros of the Denmark team doing the same thing around Ericsson. Like I don't know how you can, it's hard to put yourself in that situation, how you're going to react to that, and you kind of touched on obviously the head coaches there, they're going to have leadership skills. They've got to have as a head coach, but I think how they've reacted is kind of just shows you what kind of people they are, I suppose, as well. How they dealt with that. Obviously after he was off the field, and obviously I wasn't up for it, but you saw after the pictures I saw, obviously saw McDermott, afterwards getting the whole team that were there together, to crowd round, and I think they said a prayer or whatever, and they, and chat, and spoke, and to do that, even as a head coach, as a person, to have how many players on that NFL team, all the backroom staff, everyone around to try and galvanise whatever he said. I'm sure. I don't think we need to know what he said, but to be able to react like that, I think it's probably the same for Zach Taylor. I think there's been something he's come out, in the press conference since, and said, and he's, I think one thing that I saw a wee bit in the kind of media, social media things is like the whole T Higgins side, which I think is crazy.
That's the horrible side of it. The horrible side.
How can
I was just going to bring that up to you then? That was something that it seems to be that there's this blame culture. They have to have someone who's done wrong there. If you run at someone, they're going to try and take you out. You've got to protect yourself. That head, I don't think it came down lower than anybody else would have done.
No, it didn't. Let me shoulder it. It's not on Higgins at all. Not on Higgins whatsoever.
But the families, the boys' families come out and say that Higgins is not responsible for that whatsoever. So they're just trying to shut up the naysayers that are just trying to cause a stir on Twitter, YouTube, whatever they're on it. They're just at it.
The poor guy's going through enough. He's had
a name from themselves.
Aye. I totally agree. Higgins is going through enough at the moment, to see that happen after making that tackle. And I say it's football, and it was an honest tackle. And I say just for people to just, like you say, jump in this bandwagon of pointing fingers at anybody is just there's absolutely no need for it whatsoever. And I do feel for Higgins as well, and I hope he's all right. because he'll be going through a horrible time as well, no doubt about it.
But apparently, I was listening to our pod earlier, and basically the next day leaving the hotel, Higgins with his mum, and the boy looked distraught by all accounts.
Aye.
There was a reporter that's over in Cincinnati watching the hospital, and he said he absolutely looked distraught. He's blaming himself as it is, isn't he? He just on Twitter saying
Exactly.
blaming him as well, because he's got to feel bad enough.
There's going to be, it's weird, there's going to be some sort of post-traumatic stress that's going to come from this, where people are going to be, he's got to second guess himself every time he goes for a tackle. Is he going to do harm to someone? When this really is a 1 in a million or 1 in a billion type of incident, where the heart, by all accounts from watching doctors that I've seen on Twitter describing what could have happened, the impact at that point is the heart had to be in such a state where it was just at a certain point of beating for it to stop like that. We don't know if the guy's got underlying health issues. That could be a part of it as well. But I think what we're looking for is a wee bit of care for the person that happened to, for Demar, and also for D. Higgins as well. There's care for the players who witnessed it as well. The league came out and said that there's counselling available for all of them, and I thought it was quite good to see that people are shown that it's tough guys, big tough guys that people look up to. These are the modern heroes of our sporting world, of our lives. These are the giants of the game. It's all right for them to go and tell somebody, actually that affected me, I feel really, really sad, I feel a bit guilty, I feel horrible inside, I can't stop crying because of this. It's good that they're able to get in touch with their emotions and talk about it that way. But listen, fantastic. I thought for how long it took, we don't know everything that was happening in the background, no doubt. The commissioner was getting in touch with I heard on the commentary saying that he spoke to both head coaches. I think that 45-minute void for people watching it was quite a long time. Certainly it seemed a long time for the people trying to commentate on it, because it just kept going to adverts every couple of minutes, which was just weird. But it sounds as if there was great work and synergy in the background where they were able to deal with this and come up with, thankfully, the right solution to it, which was to postpone the game. They didn't need to get played on. Fantastic. Guys, that was really good. Any other wee points on that you want to make?
I was just
good.
the only thing I was going to say is, I've talked about the responders. You know, hats off to them. But I suppose it just goes to show like all the benefit of like learning how to do CPR.
Absolutely.
You know, there's courses you can go on, free things you can get, like the Resuscitation Council and things like that. You know, just things you can do as a Joe Blogs person.
Yeah.
Like I've been lucky enough in my day-to-day job to have the opportunity to do training courses. Thankfully never had to use it, but I don't know how I'd react in any sort of situation. But I suppose at least you've got a wee bit of semblance of to be able to try and help.
Supposedly they train for this once a season, and this is something, like they said, had never happened before. But the fact that they were just able to just click into reaction mode and get everything underway, and they just saved somebody's life. It's truly magical thing. Brilliant. Yep. We are going to move on now to our main meat of the podcast this week. We're going to look at the playoff contenders and how this final week of the NFL can shape the wild card for the postseason. How about we start with the AFC? You know how I'm dead good with my conferences. The AFC.
Googling AFC. Who plays in it?
So the Eagles.
First up, then, let's have a wee look at the Tennessee Titans. They're at the Jacksonville Jaguars. There, I can't say that word.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Jaguars are just out there in the playoff position. Depends how other results go, whether they'll stay there. Titans have a chance. They have a chance, but they would need quite a few results to go their way for them to sneak in. This is brilliant. This is just absolutely terrific TV. It's going to be this weekend when we get to watch all these games, and so late in the season, there's so many teams where they've got plenty to play for, they've got plenty to go for. How do we think this game's going to go then? Craig, I'll start with yourself. Do you think the Jags have got enough? Have they started to click at the right time?
Well, do you know, as you were saying, this is the big finale, the big AFC South showdown, and it's going to be an absolute cracker. Really looking forward to seeing how this game pans out. Good news from the Titans' point of view. It looks like Derrick Henry, he's going to be fit and healthy and back, but he's been having a wee case of the butterfingers lately. Costly fumbles have been costing the Titans, and this game they cannot afford any more slip-ups. They need Derrick Henry, and he's been interviewed this week saying he's been practicing hold the ball, hold it high, keep protect the football. He's got to be at his absolute best. If King Derrick can help possibly lift the Titans back to the top of the AFC South, I don't know if it's going to be possible, because saying the Jags are rolling, they're the informed team. They're 4 wins on the bounce. They're absolutely the ones with the momentum here. But again, like the Titans, they've been making sure that they've got Henry back fit for this game, because they know that he is the main man as far as they're concerned. But the last time they meet, Jags beat the Titans back in December, 36-22. For me, I fancy the Jags to do it again. I think that, like I said, they're the team with the momentum here. There's a bit of a feel-good factor about the Jaguars, and I think that that it's going to come down to that, basically. So for me, I'm going for a Jags win against the Titans in this game.
I repeat, as you said, of the last meeting on the 10th of December, is it going to be all King Henry's way? He's got 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns for the season. Or, Scott, is it going to be the newcomer, the young upstart himself, Etienne, that's going to do it? He's got 1,100 yards. He's only got the 5 touchdowns, but he seems to be really turning into a bit of a star for the Jags this season. Is he going to be able to dent what King Henry can do?
He's not. No one can do what King Henry can do, to be honest with you. But no, he's going to be. He had a slow start to the season, so for him up for 1,100 odd yards just now is good going, especially with a team who took a while to find themselves in the Jags.
Yeah.
So I do think he'll probably have the better game, because I think the Titans are just. I don't know a clue what's happening with them. They're just going one way and it's not up. That's for sure. I don't even know. I lost a week of football. But I'm not even sure. Is Tannehill fit? Is he still on the team?
It's Joshua Dobbs.
So you've gone in there. So I honestly, it's Jacksonville's to lose, in my honest opinion. You've got Etienne, you've got Lawrence, you've got all the weapons they've got. I can't see them not winning, to be honest with you. And it's in their own hands. They win it, they've booked it, they're in, and they deserve it. From that should have been quite a fun. They've been like the AFC's in it. Detroit, they've been good to watch this season. So I would like to see them make it in, because I think they're a good team to watch at the moment. It would make it interesting.
Lawrence certainly has come on to a game past couple of weeks. We've really seen what a leader he could be. That some of his picks that he's thrown as well has been absolutely terrific. Is there a way that you can see the Titans, Liam, making, which I think it's fair to say would be an upset on Sunday?
That's a kind of strange position to be in. I suppose you wouldn't have said that, a couple of weeks ago. Titans were just sitting pretty, just kind of plodding along, weren't they? But Jaguars have sneaked back up in there. I think it just comes in when you look at, as kind of Scud alluded to, if you look across the board, there's kind of skill positions. You kind of feel like it comes down to Henry for the Titans. Their wide receiver core. Okay, they've got the kind of rookie Burks there, who's been doing all right, but he's been kind of in and out, injured on and off a bit, isn't he, as well this season? So.
Yeah.
And then obviously now you lost Tannehill. Also, Dobbs seemed to do all right from what I saw of it last week. Did all right, yeah, it's just whether if you can stop Henry, if the Jags can stop Henry, then I think they're kind of shoo in to win it. To be honest with you,
I'm looking forward to this game myself. We all agreed then that we think that it'll be the Jags that are going to go through on this one. Will that be enough to take them through to the wild card?
Absolutely.
Kiss of death.
What could possibly go wrong? We're all back in the Jags to beat the Titans.
Always goes so well.
If there's anything I've learned right from doing this pod over the past few weeks, is there's no such thing as a shoot-in. Whenever we predict something to absolutely happen, there's a very good chance that it won't. So take from that what you will.
That's the late game on Saturday night. going into Sunday morning as well. So the implications from that game for the teams that are going to be playing Sunday night for us will be really interesting as well. I'm looking forward to that good doubleheader that we've got on Saturday night. The first game, of course, being the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders at 9:30. So that'll be certainly one to watch. But the next one in the AFC that we're going to look at then will be the Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Bills, as we said already, they've got their spot. It'll be interesting. We heard that the team trained today, but how are they going to be mentally for this game? Are they going to be prepared for this? Is this something that the Pats are going to be able to play upon, where they can play their game, they can grind it down and maybe sneak a wee win there? Liam, I'll come to you for the start of this one then. Who are you looking forward to seeing? Who do you think the big matchups in between the two teams this week will be?
I suppose it just comes down to the Pats' defense. I think obviously they've shown up and had their good old pick sixes, quite a few of them now. Another one last weekend, I'm sure, was it not? So
Yep.
seven. I knew Scud would tell me. I suppose for all their failings in offense, or what seems to be failings in Mac Jones, kind of plodding on, seem to be.
You leave McElwain, shut up.
doing all right then, Scud. I'll leave it at that, shall I? Yeah, as you say, what kind of Bills team is going to be able to go out there and perform? As much as what they've gone through, as we talked about earlier, could galvanize the whole team together. A whole brotherhood sort of thing, that side of things as well. Just spur each other on to perform for one of the other players to as well, sort of thing. So it will definitely be an interesting watch.
Watching the game the other night with the Bengals after the incident that happened with DeMar, Scott, was how it seemed to affect Josh Allen. He just looked totally dazed. I'll be really interested to see how he responds to the game on Sunday, and how he'll be able to. I'm sure this guy is a laser focused. He's an incredible athlete, and he seems a great leader. I think this will be a game where he'll be wanting to go out and win convincingly for DeMar. I'm actually a wee bit worried for your Pats. Are you the same, even with that incredible defense that you've got?
Oh, hands down, they're a good team. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think they can go one of two ways. You can be shook up about it and just not come out. But I think it'll go the other way. With a rally round, they'll win it for them. And they'll go with that mentality, with that how they're going to attack the game, which means it's going to be scary for us. I mean, we need to approach it like a normal game. We can't go into it thinking of anything like that. We need to, unfortunately, it's not like a business at the end of the day. They don't need to go at it as a game, but you're going to be, it's almost like a wounded animal.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be getting them from that. So it's just going to be, see how we can take it from there. But I really don't, I want us to win, but I don't want us to go to the playoffs. Is that bad? Enough's enough. I just want the season done in a bad way. But no, say we've been limping along. And we're not a fun team to watch. I'm aware of that. They're my team, and I'll always watch them. But you see teams like the Jags try to go in. They're much more fun to watch than the Patriots. But
they're a frustrating team to watch, aren't they? That's the biggest thing you've got to say as a Patriots fan this year. They are a frustrating team to watch, and you can see that frustration in Mac Jones. You can see it in the sidelines, but. I say that the numbers don't lie, and the Pats they've shown absolutely no evidence of any kind of like passing offense that's going to terrify a secondary. You look at the players in the Pats teams and the numbers they're putting up. Look at like Jacoby Myers or Tyquan Thornton, Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, even Nelson Aguilar. Like none of these guys are putting up the kind of numbers.
That's not their fault.
No, it's I know that. But it's absolutely. I say that this isn't on the players. We know that this is on the play calling. Like I say, there's a number of issues, but we've talked about it in previous pods. Like something needs to be done about that. Bill's got to get the finger out, and he's got to get rid of like Patricia and all the guys that are like causing these issues. Because if they can pull it together in the off season, they can, draft well. Then there's no reason why the Patriots can't get back into contention. The only thing they can do in this game, the only thing they could do is give Ramondre Stevenson the ball, give him a lot of the football.
But he's struggling with his fitness now, mate.
He is. But that's the only thing they could possibly do, and I don't think that's going to be enough. Like I genuinely think the Bills, it's in Buffalo. You've got the home crowd. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an emotional game, and they are probably going to take, all of that incentive from everything that, all that horrific stuff that happened at the weekend. They are going to rally around, and who's not a Bills fan this week? I think even Scud is in the Bills mafia this weekend. Come on, Scuds. It makes sense.
I slated the Patriots there. But the only other option to come in the thing is the Steelers, which hell no, they're even worse than us. The Dolphins, but the Dolphins without a Tua is basically like a dolphin with the tail cut off. It doesn't go anywhere.
And they've not even got Teddy this week. Like they are properly struggling.
If you're going to take, there's going to be one bad team coming for the AFC into the playoffs, and it may as well be the Pats a bit with us. But if the Steelers get beat and Miami get beat and we get beat, we still go through. So we could lose and still go.
Bills Mafia start. Come on, can we like chuck you through a table or something? Come on, let's do it.
How one thing I wanted to ask you was about, is it Matt Patricia? Is that a blind spot from Bill Belichick, or would that be something that would maybe look to replace him in the postseason?
It better be. They're talking about Bill O'Brien coming back for college. They're talking about X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's a bit old pals trying to give him something, but I'm hoping it's more that rather than him being arrogant and pig-headed and just want to go with it his way and that's it, because that wouldn't be a good thing for the club. We need the football team going the right way, and Matt Patricia caught on Joe Judge and anywhere need play calling is nowhere near it.
You mentioned the Dolphins, and they are at home to the New York Jets this weekend. As you said, they've got quarterback issues, no Tua. I don't think he's been ruled out completely for the game this weekend, has he?
Yes.
He has.
He's ruled out.
No Tua.
Teddy
highly likely no Teddy.
Skylar Thompson, isn't it?
Skylar Thompson time.
Skylar Thompson again. For my fantasy team this year, I went all in on Tua, and so much so that when he got injured, I got Teddy in. And that game earlier in the season, when both of them got concussion, and I was down to no quarterback. I didn't even have Skylar on there. So I really need to travel up next time. This is like 6 or 7 game losing streak that the Dolphins are on just now. Are they able to shake it off? What was that, sorry?
I thought they were just dead won a game in between all that, but they're in a massive, the last 7 games have not won many.
Absolute slump just now.
5-game losing streak at the moment.
5-game it is.
Yeah.
It's went wrong at the wrong time of the season for them. A couple of wins there, they've been sitting pretty, but it just seems the concussions to Tua have really played a massive part in that to them. But the offense have just slowed down for being so hot early on in the season, and everybody applauding them and saying how well that they were doing and hoping for big things. At one point, I was thinking that they had a chance of going to the Super Bowl, but very early on in McDaniel's career with them and the team that he's building. But I like the mentality that he's instilling in the team. I'm looking forward to season 2 with them, see how they progress, if they're going to be able to get a better D this close season, if they're going to be able to work on that, because the offense is pretty good. They just need to keep their quarterback.
They just need to be
healthy
on the field, not on a bench or on IR.
Extra padding in his helmet, double. I got cotton
Mike,
wool on each side.
Aye, mind the big like polystyrene helmets you got when you were a kid. So I mind having one of them like when I got my BMX when I was like 8 or something. Give two one of them, like big massive one.
Is that not what they've been working? The ones that they use in training is to help with all that. They should just be bring that out, especially for him.
Aye, give him like a big Rick Moranis one, like from Spaceballs. Give him one of them. That'd be awesome. Like just tour, like cutting about, like try to chuck the ball one of them on.
It's late in the season. Are they going to do it this weekend against the Jets and that incredible D that we've seen from them this season? They must be disappointed to be out of the picture so early on. What do you think, Liam?
I suppose it's again depends. Talking about a team that's kind of gone the wrong way later in the season. The Jets the same. Have they got? I don't know. Even Mike White is he fit? I'm not sure. For this one, so I suppose it depends what kind of Jets turn up.
Bring back Zach Wilson. Bring back Zach.
I suppose, as you say, the D this season has been, can't really say anything against them. They really is well the Jets, but it's the other side of the ball. And then, as you say, if they're out of contention, are they going to be playing all their starters, or what starters they have, etc.?
Well, one wee nugget of information, and we were just talking about this earlier on. You say the Jets are out of contention, right?
Are they still
I read this earlier on. It's a long shot.
They're not. Right? Not.
And it all depends on what the NFL decides to do as a result of the Bills-Bengals game. If they opted to add an 8th playoff team to each conference, and the Jets beat the Dolphins, the Browns beat the Steelers, and the Jags beat the Titans, there is a chance. It is. It's like, it's like 1,000,000 to 1 shot here, but I'm giving Pat some hope here. Like, Pat, there's still a chance. It might happen. But yeah, that is the only.
The Steelers have still got a better record than them.
I read it on the internet, and like we said,
if
I read something on the internet, I'm going to believe it, right? If a Jets fan somewhere has gone to that length to find out, is it possible that we might still make the playoffs? I'm going to choose to believe it. So there you go.
Where's Tony's generator? We need it.
Yeah.
Mike White is down as unspecified for this weekend. He's had that rib injury that's kept him out. He was LP for today. We'll see how he is for tomorrow, whether he managed to get the start. But Zach Wilson's been doing great there anyway, so we're happy for him to play. I'm hopeful for the Dolphins. I'd like to see them come through, but I think for all these teams that we've been talking about, I don't see them going really, really deep into the postseason. Jags, Pats, Dolphins, whoever it would be a one and done, really, wouldn't it?
I'd say so. The Dolphins have been a hard luck story, really. I'd say the Tua injury, that's really derailed them. And they were, like, at the beginning of the season, up until midway, they were one of the most fun teams to watch, one of the highest scoring teams. Brilliant. But as you said, Keith, maybe at the end of this season, they work on the defensive side of things, and regroup for next season, because earlier on in the season they stood a really, really good shot in the AFC East, but now, like, Pats have bounced back. They're sitting 8-8 as well. I'd say that the Dolphins, in terms of the I'd say they're in a slightly better place overall than the Pats, just purely because, like, the Pats have got coaching issues, but I think that the Dolphins, in terms of, like, big game players that they've got offensively, probably have a little bit more. I think that'd be probably fair to say.
I would agree.
So
time will tell.
With limited coaching,
yeah,
we've got,
exactly. Time will tell.
And the limited players compared to what they've got, we've still managed to get the same record so far and pumped them twice, beat them once. So
you did, and that is very true. That is very true. But yeah, let's say if the Dolphins can stay, particularly if Tua can stay injury free, and they can build around that, then yeah, they're a good fun team to watch, and I hope that will continue next season.
The other two teams that are playing is the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers have a chance. I'm not really. They're 8-8 just now.
I'm just impressed that Mike Tomlin's nearly going to have his non-losing season again.
Yeah, they need the Bills. Yeah, they need the Bills to beat the Pats, and they need New York to beat Miami. And also they need to win their game, obviously, as well, if they're going to stand a chance, But yeah, they do have a chance, a 16% chance, if you want to put a rough number on it.
They beat the Ravens last week. They have last time they played the Browns, they were actually beaten by the Browns 29-17. So we got revenge maybe they did there.
This is the Browns Super Bowl. The Browns will play a full strength team
against the Steelers
to put them out 100% in their Super Bowl.
Until they're losing loads, and then they go, "Oh, we'll just pull out our starters. It's all right. We're just going to pull out."
Yeah, if they had any chance of putting the Steelers out, they are going to do everything they possibly can to do so.
I would think it is this a game that I think it's always an interesting spectacle between these two teams. They don't like each other. Just looking forward to seeing the battle commence between the two, and hopefully there's plenty of QB sacks for the Steelers on the Browns.
Correct. They showed some signs of life last week. I mean, from Brian's point of view, a resident Browns fan, you know, they're 1-0 in 2023. Brian,
did they win?
That. Yeah, they won last week. They beat the Commanders last week. So 100%. 100% record.
I was a Browns fan last weekend as well.
But Brian said this in the previous pod as well. They said it pre-Christmas about how the Browns should be handing the ball to St. Nicholas Chubb. And what did they do? They gave the ball to St. Nicholas Chubb. And ho, he was brilliant. So if they can keep doing that, you know, St. Nick, he's basically, you know, he's the main man. We all know that as far as the Cleveland Browns are concerned. And it's conflicting because I love to see Chubb doing well just as much as I love to see their quarterback getting sacked. So it's a conflicting situation. Whether the Steelers or the Browns, who's going to win this game? I don't know. I think it's a bit of a coin toss, to be honest. I couldn't really call for certain who's going to come out on top of this one. But like you said, it's the Browns Super Bowl. They've not got a chance, but they still want to beat the Steelers. The Steelers, there's a very slim chance they might possibly, if other results go their way, but
there's a better chance of them getting in than the Jets, and you gave them a chance. So
I did.
So there's two places left in the AFC. Who are we giving them to then, Craig? Who's your two spots going to?
Oh, the AFC. It's a tough one. Who's going to possibly sneak
was
in?
A Broncos impersonation there.
Yeah,
let's ride.
Yeah, Broncos country. Let's ride. God, I honestly, I mean, the Pats possibly. I mean, just like you said, Scuddo, like if they do go in, it's basically the cannon fodder. And then depending on what happens in the AFC South between the Jags and the Titans game, I want to see the Jags going through. Personally, I just think they'll be great fun to watch in the playoffs. But yeah, so it's all ifs, buts, and maybes.
So who are you picking then?
I know.
Jags.
There's two
Jags
teams.
and
Jags and I'm trying to think what the scenario would be then if Jags win, so Titans lose, therefore they'd go 7-10. So
if you think the Patriots are going to get beat and the Dolphins are going to win, the Dolphins are through.
The Dolphins are struggling. That's what I mean. I think the Pats could end up squeezing through just because the Dolphins are they're down to their third string quarterback. So
yeah,
I think they're going to struggle. So yeah, I think Pats could possibly sneak in, but then yeah, cannon fodder after that. Sorry, Scud. Sorry, Danny.
Do you know what it would be after the typical Pats way of getting through? Just eke it out, just to inch by inch. Liam, who are you going for this one then?
I think the Steelers will sneak in. Sorry, Brian. But
I can actually hear Brian.
I just think, they always just seem to be thereabouts, don't they? No matter what. As I say, you wouldn't have said they would have an 8-8 record going into this week. Again, halfway through the season, up against old rivals at home. Yep, I can see them sneaking in. And I suppose the other one, as again, if they can get healthy, it's always a fun team to watch. As we said, is the Dolphins. It'll be fun to see.
No, it has to be Jags or the Thingy. By the way, has to be one. Titans or the Jags has to be at least one of them.
Aye,
yeah.
No, but
You
they'll be.
you said the Dolphins and the
Oh,
Steelers.
so I am. Oh, sorry. Why not? Why can't I have that? Scott? Why can't I have that? Fine then, spoil sport. Okay then, Jags then.
There you go. Jags Steelers from Liam Scud.
Liam, you can pick whoever you want,
I
mate.
know.
Listen,
I'll go on
if there's an-
online and get a scenario that will work.
I told you the Jet scenario, so that could work for another team as well. You know, if there's an extra wildcard spot, you can have those teams, mate.
Oh, mine has to be the Jags and the Jets then. No, I think it'll be the Jags, and then all the rest of the teams will lose, and the Patriots will get there.
We were going. It's like the Texans can make it. How about the Broncos? Let's ride into the playoffs. Let's go.
Okay, I'll go for Jags and Dolphins there. I think they'll do just enough to get through, and the Bills will take care of the parts for that game. Leaving the AFC behind, moving to bright land of the NFC, home for my favourites, the Seattle Seahawks, who are at home to the LA Rams. Typical. We get a team that have been playing honking all season, and we've got to win it to stand a chance of getting through. I don't know about this one myself. The Rams just have been a bit of turned into an absolute tire fire, as we like to say on this podcast. How well they've been this season. Even the great quarterback that they've got in just now, he can't even turn it around for them just now. What do we think? Scud, I'll come to you first for this one. It's going to be a Seahawks win, isn't it?
No, you better bet against my parts. I hope Baker Mayfield bends you over. No, it's going to be hard because it's going to be hard because I think the Rams have found a wee bit of flurry at the end of the season. It's probably the wrong time to have played them. You said they've been honking all season, and if Baker's come in and he's actually gave them a wee bit more juice than what they've had. I don't know what the score last week was. I'm just going with the previous weeks before that. But the Seahawks seem to be struggling a wee bit now. There's not as much juice as they did have. But I honestly can't call it, mate, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a hard... You'd like to think you can win. If you win, is it not just yours automatically?
I think that is the case.
No, I think that's a lie. I think the Packers, if the Packers beat the Lions,
Packers can win out.
The Packers win. So you're in now as it stands, but if the Packers beat the Lions, then they're in no matter what.
They've got the head-to-head, I'm sure it is.
But it's all right, the Lions are playing them, they're going to stomp them.
Go Lions.
The previous game, Seahawks beat the Jets 23-6 in their last game. I think the crowd are going to be able to lift the 12 and do their job. Yeah. I think our team will go there. But the horrible thing is that the last game of the night is going to be the Lions at Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers. So it doesn't matter what the Seahawks do; they could absolutely run a riot.
I do find that even though I'm slightly biased, I do find that strange that they're at different times. It's a bit
it's a bizarre one, isn't it?
Because and could also, if I think it's not the Seahawks win, then the Lions can't get through. Yeah. So they're like, well,
why would you not have the two at the same time? Have a bit of drama.
Sporting integrity. That's what we're calling for in the GRID IRN-CRU podcast. A wee bit of sporting integrity. We should extend the season for them.
You're right about the Rams season has been a disaster, but saying that they've also been unlucky to a certain extent as well. Like injury wise, no Cooper Kupp is a massive blow. No Aaron Donald.
But they were honking with them.
They're not going to exactly get much better without them, though, are they?
I know, but
this is a team that were the Super Bowl champions last year, so surely they could still piece everything back together to at least be semi-decent enough to make the playoffs. Anyway, they've been unlucky as far as that's concerned. But the other interesting thing is from the Rams' point of view, just talking about wee incentives and things like that, and reading about Bobby Wagner going back to Seattle to face the Seahawks team that let him go so acrimoniously last year. So he's got a bit of incentive to go back. He was with he was in Seattle for 10 years before they let him go. So he's going back there with certainly an incentive to put an end to the Seahawks' hopes of making the playoffs. So that's a wee interesting kind of side story as well to go with this game. But yeah, will the Seahawks do it? Well, say because the games are in different times, we're not going to get that added wee spice of going back and forth the way we did with the weekend's games there. So a wee bit disappointing, but we shall see.
And do you know we trust Kenneth Walker?
Oh, Gino!
I'm desperate to get that wee Twitter.
We'll just sing it
again. I've just lost my wee video. Oh, Gino.
Keith, even though into an extra team for each division, mate, you'll be fine. So the Jets.
Here we go. You get a playoff spot. You get a playoff spot. Everybody gets a playoff spot.
And you know we trust. They've got to get right home. Let's look then to the prime time game Sunday evening. It'll be late into Sunday night, early Monday morning for us. But one of the most entertaining teams of the season has to be the Detroit Lions, travelling to Lambeau to play a resurgent Green Bay Packers. Liam, would you say that? You've got to be hopeful now that the team early on in the season.
I won't lie. I'm scared. I'm scared to hope. To be honest with you, still after being 4-8, after the Eagles game, I thought that's fine. I kind of accept. I've come to accept it, and I don't really want to change my tune. I was like, fine, season's done. It's fine. Go to next year, and now look where we're at. So, but I'm scared to. I don't know. Scared to dream. But yeah. Well, hey, last weekend. That wasn't too bad. Was it, Craig?
Sorry, my headphones went a bit crackly there, mate. Sorry, didn't quite hear that. But sorry, you were saying something about
just playing.
Last weekend.
Yeah, playing guitar in the end zone. So
41-17, 41, Craig. That must have been a bit
fine.
Right,
if we're gonna mention it, fine. Yes, the Packers beat us last week. Yes, it was an absolute disaster. Yes, we got pumped. Yes, Kirk was atrocious. Yes, Jefferson didn't have a good game either. Aye, it was awful. It was awful. And then the Packers put out this wee kind of cool Lego highlights video, which was cool. I'm still not happy about it. I'm still like, I'm spitting my dummy out. I'm doing a Greg Joseph. I'm spitting my dummy out 61 yards. I'm no happy. Oh, look at this. He's showing up a wee Lego figure up here.
That was Aaron Rodgers just flapping cannons last week.
For anyone watching the video.
But to be fair, even last week though, our offense wasn't amazing.
We were just absolutely terrible.
We did all right.
We couldn't put anything together. Defensively, you guys were absolutely.
So, to be fair, that's what makes it interesting for this week, because the Lions have been, as you say, one of the, even though they're in our division, they're a fun team to watch. They're entertaining, putting up points right, left, and centre. Can our offense keep up? I suppose is the big thing. I suppose is that our defense. Our defense totally get rid of Goff.
It'll be a good game. I think it's going to be in a coin flip. I can honestly, I want the Lions to win, and I've not got allegiances to any of that division, but just as a fan from the outside, I want to see the Lions win. But I've got a feeling if the Lions win, they're still not going to get through anyway. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think Seahawks will have done enough early on the day that will take a wee bit of the edge off for the Lions, but they'll probably want to finish strongly and show that they are somebody that's going to have to be reckoned with. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamal Williams.
Returning back to Jamal Williams, back to Lambeau.
Yeah, Swift as well. It's looked good in the past couple of games as well. So, I think with the incentive there and what's at stake, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to drag the Packers through to this and take them to the postseason, which, as you said, you were 4-8, it looked absolutely ridiculous. And the way that he hadn't gelled with his new offense, and it looked as if it was going to be a totally forgettable season for the Packers, but he's really turned that around, and it'll be exciting to see. And they're one of the teams that probably could do something in the postseason.
Yeah, well,
that
our
other ones
defense,
you're thinking,
yeah, even like when we were on 4-8, like this whole harping about our defense and our coordinator, all that, what we were doing. With paper got an all right defense, but we seem to have turned that around as well. So it'll be interesting if we do get in. Don't get me wrong, I can see us going one and done quite easily, but it'll be interesting, if our defense can kind of keep us in the mix somehow.
super. So for the
Never-
NFC,
never
who's
know.
going through? We'll get one space in the NFC. Who's going through there? Craig, I'll come to you first of all.
I said it last time I was in the pod. I think the Packers are going to sneak in. I think they are going to sneak in there. Oh, flipping cheeseheads. But like I said, you never know. Like a few weeks ago, we were singing the praises of the Vikes, and they got absolutely destroyed by the Packers. So who's not to say that the Packers, if they make the playoffs, couldn't go on a wee run? Anything can happen. It's any given Sunday. And they say it's teams getting hot at the right time. Forget about what happened at the start of the season. Forget that you were, say, 4-8. Doesn't matter. If you get to the playoffs, it's all about moving forward from there. So, say if they're clicking at the right time, yeah, you never know. And it pains me to say that. I mean, it really does. But I say,
Scott, who are you thinking then? Who's going to make it?
Yes, I'll go with the Seahawks because I want to see I just purely with my heart, I want to see the Lions win. I'm not lying, that's just, but I do think they can do it because they want to finish strong for the year. They want to go into next year having a bit that one wee bit better record, and even if it is for pride, putting the Packers out, it's much like I said earlier with the Browns and it's a division rival. You'd still like to put them out if possible.
Absolutely. Getting Coffee's brand new deal as well. Liam, you're taking the Lions and Seahawks victory then as well, I take it.
Of course. Not well.
Detroit.
I'll have some hope. Stick with the Packers.
I myself, I'm going to go Seahawks here. I think Lions, like you said, just want to finish strong. It's more out of hope than anything else. I'm going for the Seahawks to sneak it in. It'll be terrific to watch anyway on Sunday night. We'll move on quickly then, guys. I put it to you, and I totally forgot that fantasy football was over for the season, thankfully. I came bottom in one of our leagues. We don't really count that one. That one does not really, that doesn't really take precedence. We've got two leagues that we're all in, did quite well in that one, but the other one where I didn't even know the rules, that rookies could be placed on
Taxi squad.
Yeah, I didn't have to even think. I didn't know anything about that. I'm not counting that one. The worst of it though.
Excuses.
In the final against somebody who hadn't picked their team for about 3 months and had just let it ride with two players that were out and on IR, and I still played two players that ended up with minus points. And I got absolutely horsed in that game. So I was hoping big time for 50 points for Singletary, but that one get kiboshed as well. Anyway, gentlemen, fantasy pick 6 teams. I'm just looking for who's going to be the absolute ballers this week. We don't need to look for our sleepers this week. Who's going to ball out this weekend? Who's going to stand up tall and make the difference? Liam, I'll come to you first of all for your quarterback.
Yeah, well, I've actually got two. I've kind of copped out a wee bit because, and we've kind of touched on it a bit. It's going to be one or other. It's either going to be Rodgers or Goff. One or other will ball out, I think.
You get you shoot out between the two of them. Fantastic.
Yeah, a wee shoot out, as you say, because the Packers are going to, as we touched on earlier, we're going to have to keep up. So,
and a great way to finish the season and finish the week as well. What about top running back there, Scud? I'll come to you for that.
I was trying to look at what games mean something, but I'll go with Sanders against the Giants. I think the Giants are going to sit most of their starters. They'd be stupid if they didn't, because they can't go up or down in the standings. And Philly need to win to get guaranteed the first number 1 seed. So they're going to have a game, and I think hopefully Hurts is back. I don't know if he's back or if he's getting rested, but I can see Sanders running the ball through the Giants.
I think it'd be a good idea to play Hurts in this one. I think he certainly trending as if he's going to be available to play, and I think to get that wee bit of momentum, Minshew's done well since he's come in, but the they've lost a couple of matches, so I think it'd be good to get that wee bit of momentum going into the postseason and getting a win against the Giants who've already qualified. Murd will be delighted with that. Top wide receiver then, Craig, who are you going for?
Now, I was between two here, right? But I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers. He has had double-digit targets the past 2 weeks. He's really beginning to click with Brock Purdy. My other one that I was thinking about as well was DJ Moore, because, again, it's bizarre to actually talk about, what could have been if Sam Darnold had been the quarterback for the whole season. But he's been really, really good. Like, the two of them have been absolutely brilliant. So they would have been the two. But I think Ayuk, as I say, double-digit targets the past couple of weeks. 49ers, this is them gearing up for their big push for the playoffs. So Ayuk's been absolutely brilliant. So he would be my baller wide receiver this week.
Fantastic. Look out for that. And Liam, I'll come to you for the Deadly Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to stick on the same team that Craig was, the 49ers. I think it's going to
careful. I picked the 49ers last week.
I know.
They're playing the Raiders. The Raiders are going to be terrible. And then Stidham absolutely roasted them.
I know.
Is that how you defeat them? You just go toe to toe. You just ball out, as they say.
They're up against the Cardinals this week. Is it McSorley that's in at quarterback? I can't keep track of the quarterbacks in the Cardinals. And then I don't know if Hopkins is going to play this week either. He was out.
No, he's out.
So
Tom Hopkins is ruled out.
So they've got nothing to play for. Will they just put some reserves in, see what they've got, see what they've got for next year? Any sort of could be interesting.
Good shout. Scott, what are you thinking for top tight end then?
Just purely the quarterback situation, Mike Gesicki at the Dolphins. He seems to end up taking targets when it's not Tua or Bridgewater at quarterback. Or even with Bridgewater, he sees an uptake because they're not going as deep down the field. So they'll rely on him a lot more. So I think he'll have a big game if they've got any chance.
I heard that in one of the other podcasts earlier on today. Tua seems to not favour him very much, but when it comes to Bridgewater and Thompson, they certainly can rely on him a wee bit more, but Gesicki would be a great shout. Well done. And top kicker then, Craig, finishes off.
Right, okay. So my reason for this is that I was in the fantasy football app and I was looking at this kicker's stats, and the difference between when this kicker is outside compared with when he's in the safety of his own nice wee dome in Atlanta. I'm going for CRU because the Falcons are at home. They're in their dome, and looking at the stats, looking at his kicking stats, the long field goal attempts that he makes, the extra points that he makes, he's statistically so much better. I mean, unsurprisingly, he's in a dome. There's no wind to contend with, but he is absolutely so much better in a dome. So for that reason, I'm going for CRU and the Falcons.
Yeah, you're my boy. I got picked in, I think, one of my first ever fantasy football teams. He ended up being one of the highest scorers that I ever had in the full season. So
you're selling yourself well here, Keith.
I'm a shooting for the Joby Bowl again next season. I'm getting a hat trick there. We're going to finish off then with that was a fantasy amateur. I didn't change the ticker down the bottom there. There we go. We're learning. On to the quiz time now. I'm just going to give you we'll fire through these, right? There we go. Which team, and if you could just say your name first of all, to get for me to choose you. Which team won the first Super Bowl in 1967?
Oh fuck!
I'm thinking something's happened through the internet, and you all froze.
We're just going to all freeze here.
Okay. What is that? Liam.
Packers.
Packers won the first one. I was going to ask you, who did they play against then? Anyone what has
testing my knowledge now.
Let me see. What will I say? They play in red.
49ers?
Did I say division smudger?
Oh yeah, okay.
I thought it was the Steelers, but it's no.
This shows you how big a Packers fan I am, isn't it?
Studs will be shouting at the screen just now.
The Chiefs.
It was the Kansas City Chiefs. 1967, the Packers won 35-10. Gone then, but I'll give you a multiple choice for this one then. Where did the game take place? Was it A, New York, B, LA, or C, Chicago?
Chicago.
I'll go. Yeah. I'll go
go LA.
Chicago as well. Ooh.
Liam, well done. You get 2 right in this one. Liam's a champion this week. I really think we would have to maybe like chuck the quiz things because it brings us credibility right now.
At least it wasn't the anagrams this week, Keith.
Was it played at the Coliseum? Keith, was it the Coliseum?
Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
Cool.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm stalling for time as I put the final ticker tape up there. As a thanks to you for joining us. Craig, this has been great fun.
Absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it. Good to do it live and with all these like ticker things at the bottom and logos and stuff. Very, very professional, Keith. Round of applause, I think, for your handiwork, mate.
We're getting there. Scud, thanks very much for joining us, buddy.
Pleasure as always, buddy. Thanks for having us on.
Brilliant. The Wayne can get their headphones back now. Liam, thanks for joining us as well, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Indeed, a pleasure as always. Looking forward to some Sunday football, some back and forth between me and you on Sunday. See what happens with the Seahawks.
Absolutely.
Go Lions.
I'm going to see if there's any more deliveries into this house, by the way. The amount of Seahawks stuff that I've got just because we're going to be doing the video stuff. I wanted to make sure I was representing. So I might have to vent or depop my Packers jumper. So look out for that, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you have been watching, for listening in as well. Please get in touch. We're going to be doing more of these throughout the season. It's been quite good, quite enjoyable. How have you felt being on video, guys?
Aye, quite good.
I think I need to improve my background. I think, so.
You need to get Lambo in the background there. And, I'll get Seattle as well. You can follow us on Twitter at GRID IRN-CRU. It will be across all social medias if you search for GRID IRN-CRU. Iron spelled IRN and CRU CRU. Be able to get us there. Then Danny will be back next Tuesday. I'll be recording on Monday, actually, Monday night. Probably putting it out live like this. And it'll be released late Monday night into Tuesday morning for those that like listening to the podcast. With the review crew looking back at hopefully another entertaining, exciting, and wonderful week 18. Thanks very much for listening and watching, and we will speak to you soon.